Hello and welcome to this Adeptus Mechanicus detachment review, where today we're going to be looking at the Cohort Cybernetica detachment. So we're going to be looking at the Detachment Rule, the Enhancements, the Stratagems, the top units, and we're just going to have a look at how it works. But before we start, a massive thank you to Games Workshop for supplying us with the Codex so we can be able to give you the video and actually review the detachments for you guys at home. But Jake, take it away, my friend.
Jordan.
Yes.
Jord.
Yes.
Let me tell you about this detachment.
Please
because
do.
it features one big thing. And I'm going to give a little shout out here. All right, my friend Elliot, who I mentioned in one of the other reviews.
You have, yep.
He loved these.
Loved.
Do you know what these are? I don't know. I haven't really asked.
Fair enough.
But this is a Castellan robot.
Okay.
Get familiar with this person.
Nice to meet you.
Look at the blank expression you've got. Get familiar with this model and this unit.
Yeah.
Because this is the unit that is featured the most in this. This detachment is all about you. So for Elliot, I'm going to name this the Elliot Cohort Detachment. The Hoff Cohort Detachment.
The Hoff Cohort.
So this is for you. You'll know this when you watch this, so you better watch this. It'll be really embarrassing if you don't. Anyway, going into the detachment rule, the Cyberplasm Programming, or SARM, or whatever it was called. SARM. Legiono Cybernetica units from your army gain the Doctrina Imperative rule.
Okay.
So Castellan robots gain the Doctrina Imperative, which is the army rule of you pick the protector of the
Oh, so they get the army rule.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that is very strong for these guys.
Okay.
Because again, that now opens them up to give them extra AP or reducing AP, and they're very tough anyway.
Oh, I mean, they're massive robots.
They are massive robots.
So that's like Baymax.
They do look like Baymax, actually, from Big Hairy 6. But they are absolutely, that's really good. So if you want to run a lot of these, which in this attachment you would be, that already gives them a whole host of extra effectiveness.
Nice.
Which is great. So then when we look at the enhancements, this is more than where we sort of lean away from the Legiono Cybernetica.
Yep.
And we actually start looking at vehicles and Legiono Cybernetica. So this would be, if I had to compare this to another detachment, it would be very similar to the Ironstorm Spearhead.
Sure.
In the
so the Iron-Hands detachment.
Yeah, because this is all about tanks.
Sure.
Okay.
But before we continue, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, The Outpost. If you're looking for great deals on your miniatures, paints, and gaming supplies, we've got you covered. Their wide variety of exceptional service makes them the go-to destination for all hobby needs. So don't wait, check out The Outpost today. Link in the description below.
So first enhancement is the Necro Mechanic.
Okay.
I think that's how you say it. Once per battle round, so this is Tech Priest model only. So these are all Tech Priest models only. Again, another theme. Yeah. So when we talk about Tech Priest, we talk about the Tech Priest Manipulus, the Tech Priest Dominus, the Tech Priest Engineer.
Yeah.
Not the Archaeologist. Once per battle round, when a saving throw made for a friendly Legiono Cybernetica or Adeptusmechanicus vehicle unit within 12 of the bearer is failed, the bearer can use the enhancement. If they do so, change the damage characteristic to 0.
Right.
Great. We've seen that in Ironstorm.
Yeah.
It's super useful.
Very powerful.
And it's even more useful in this detachment because there's a whole host of more things that you're probably going to be using this on.
Yeah.
Especially for these sort of units of these robots.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is great. Next, we've got Lord of Machines. Once per turn at the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select one enemy vehicle unit within 12, invisible to the bearer. That unit must take a leadership check. If that test is passed until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. If the test is failed, that unit is not eligible to shoot this phase. So, with the current sort of marine state we're seeing, with a lot of tanks, this would actually be a fantastic counter to
Yeah,
that.
100%.
Making them take a leadership check, yes, they are good leadership Space Marines, usually a leadership 6.
Yeah.
But if they fail that, they can't shoot. But even if they pass it, they're still -1.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, is there's actually still a down, or there's no benefit to actually just passing.
No, you're making them take a leadership check.
Yeah.
The key thing, leadership, not battle shock. So if they fail this, they aren't battle shocked. If they pass it, So that's why I like how it has the two sides.
Nice.
Next, we have Stephen Box's current state, motionless clarity. Once per turn, when a friendly Legiono Cybernetica or Adeptusmechanicus vehicle model with the deadly demise ability that is within 12 inches of the bearer is destroyed, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does so, do not roll to see if any mortal wounds are inflicted. They just are. So
he's basically wired up a bomb for all his boys and gone,
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Emotionless clarity.
Yeah.
Confidence with that as well. I think.
Confidence, emotionless clarity.
In your 40k blowing up models.
Yeah.
Quite ironic that it's called this, considering how much Steve hates Deadly Demise.
Yes.
But again, it's very good. The ability to be able to maybe throw something like an Onager Dune Crawler into the heat of battle, even a transport that wants to be playing quite aggressively, gets the people out. You could then just run it into your opponent's lines, and they just know that like when that thing dies, it's going to be doing some mortals. Which, depending on like what army you have or depending on what you're doing, could be quite detrimental.
Oh, 100%.
So I love that. Finally, we've got Arc Negator. Arc Negator.
Arc Negator, yeah.
Arc Negator. Thank you.
That's right, bro.
Tech Priest model only. Ranged weapons equipped by the bearer have the anti-vehicle 4+ ability.
Oh, spicy.
This is amazing, considering the Tech Priest Manipulus and the Tech Priest Dominus both have devastating wound weapons that are 2 damage.
Yeah.
So now we've got a Manipulus with his D6 shot flamer that could just go, what? Here's a bunch more wounds. Oh, not more wounds, dev wounds.
Dev wounds.
It's great.
Absolutely
very, very good. So overall, 4 great enhancements.
Yeah, really, really strong.
Which is really, it's a shame when there is 4 great enhancements, because that means one has to be dropped.
You've got to kind of look at how you want to play the list and stuff like that. And
I think if I had to pick which one I wouldn't take, it probably would be Lords of Machines.
Yeah.
Just because it's very swingy, but if you do get that test failed, that's massive. But again, the chance of them failing that test for Leadership 6 is literally about.
I think the other ones are just better. But
Yeah,
I do think it has play and it's definitely worth it. But it's again, it just comes down to the other 3 are better.
Yes, 100%.
It's similar to in Ironstorm. You've got 4 fantastic enhancements, but the 4 at Feel No Pain one you will never see because the other ones are just in
better.
a different league.
And equally, I could see this for the Arch Negator as well, because again, like you may not struggle killing tanks when you're building an army based around tanks. But overall, I think it's great. I think already enhancements are great. Detachment ability looks great. Can we make it free for free with the strategy?
Let's see.
Let's take a moment to appreciate Colourforge, our fantastic sponsor. Their range of spray paints has become our go-to for making our miniatures come to life quickly and efficiently. The quality and variety of colours they offer are truly unmatched, providing a smooth application for stunning effects every time. Check out Colourforge for your next hobby project.
Okay, Jake, so what's the first strat?
The first strat is motive imperative. So this is your command phase. You select one Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle unit from your army. So key thing, our Castellan robots are vehicles as well as being Legionae Cybernetica, Onagers, all that sort of stuff. And until the start of your next command phase, you add 3 inches to your movement characteristic and you get +1 advance in charge. Now, bear in mind, I know we're looking at our little friend, the Castellan robot, and I know ours have 2 guns, but you can actually give this guy a gun and a fist.
Oh.
Which I will say optimal loadout for these guys I would recommend is the gun and the fist.
Okay, sure.
Because the only thing giving this model 2 guns is the twin linked rule, which isn't great.
Yeah, it's
you'd rather have a bit of both.
And then you can operate in 2 phases of the game rather than just one.
So making these guys a lot quicker, super good. Also just making like Onagers, your Scutari, the Iron Strider Ballistari, even the Dragoons, making them like movement 15 or 13.
Yeah.
Really good there.
I like it.
So then we've got machine superiority. Your command phase 1 Legionae Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle until the end of the turn. Your unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. You can ignore any or all modifiers to its characteristics and/or any rolls or tests made excluding its modifying its saving throw.
So you can have one or the other benefits or both. Is it?
No, so you get both. So you get fall back and shoot, and you ignore all modifiers for 1 CP.
That's fantastic.
Which is great because it has a double whammy effect. Again, Legionae Cybernetica being our big robots, and then having the tanks as well.
Well, I think I know we keep doing it, but we've got to because they're so similar. But relaying it back to the Ironstorm Spearhead from the Space Marine Codex, that is 1 enhancement and a strat on top of that, whereas that's just
both. 1 strat.
And I think that's really fantastic. Good. I mean, the ignoring modifiers obviously just affects the stat line as per the UKTC rules, right?
Yeah, it's not, of course. And the World Championship.
And the World Championship, so they're not going to affect the weapon characteristics.
No, so you can't like get around armor contempt. You can't get around damage reduction, but what you can get around is movement minuses, leadership modifiers, and all that sort of stuff.
Toughness. Sorry, Death Guard.
Yeah, sorry, Death Guard. So
fantastic. Really like it, mate. I think that's the best one so far. What's the next one going to be?
So next stratagem we've got to talk about divinatory targeting.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone in the comment section, you can have a field day with me and I'll happily take it because
Yeah.
these names are so difficult, for me at least. Your command phase, 1 Legionnaire Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle unit from your army and 1 objective marker. This is really good, right? Until the start of your next command phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have the bliss skill 3+, and the ignores cover rule, providing they are shooting at the units on the objective marker. So normally your Castellan robots hit on 4s.
Yeah.
Now they hit on 3s,
Yeah.
which is already great. If you've got the Data Smith in there, you can choose to turn one of their abilities. So like he allows you to pick an ability for the unit and you get it for the whole turn, and you can keep changing it and swapping it. One of them is +2 shots on their ranged weapons.
I like it.
So again, by the fact of if you give with the loadout, like I said, you go with 1 fist and 1 gun, you get the back gun as well. So you've got 10 shots. Well, it would be 6 shots or 10 shots going up with the thing, and then in combat you can come running in combat as well.
Yeah. 100%.
So and the reason we keep talking about these guys for Elliot, especially, it's because this is the unit of the hour. It's the unit of the hour.
It's the star unit for this detachment, so it's the one you're going to be seeing the most with it.
Yeah. Then next we've got Transcendent Cogitator. Your command phase, 1 Legionnaire Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus unit, a vehicle unit from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, you have both of the Conqueror and the Protector imperatives active. So it means, again, if we look at these Castellan robots, they have ignoring AP1 if they're in their own deployment zone, heavy, and they have assault. And they're getting extra AP into your opponent's deployment zone. So depending on how you look at it, it could be like if it's early game and their range can get into your opponent's deployment zone, this is probably good for them. If they can stand still, shoot into your opponent's deployment zone, so they get heavy, so they'll be +1 a hit. Shooting into which is the Conqueror imperative, which is the Protector imperative. Shooting into your opponent's deployment zone, adding an AP, which is the Conqueror imperative. And then when they get shot back, they still get the Protector imperative.
Fantastic.
Bonus, right? So it's nice. It's definitely nice.
I think, so one thing to note as well, on the previous one that you mentioned, where you get 3 up ballistic skill, that means you could hit on 2s potentially.
Yeah, right? you can stack this because the key thing, like you've just said, is that it's bliss skill 3+. Which is great. So yes, then if you use it with the heavy part, you could have these robots hitting on 2s, loads of shots there. Absolutely fantastic. Next, we've got Machine Spirit Resurgent. So this is your command phase, 1 Legionnaire Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle unit from your army that's below its starting strength. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll, and if your unit is below half strength, you can reroll the wound roll.
Nice.
Pretty solid. So the robots will really benefit from this because being below starting strength will involve them losing a whole model. But they'll still get a lot of attacks anyway. This is probably better on your single vehicles.
Like this guy.
Like the Onager or the Dune Stride, not the Dune Stride, the Scorpia Disintegrator, which is the indirect tank. Just because you only have to lose a wound. Whereas losing a whole robot is quite...
it's similar to like Carnifex, right? You don't really want to lose like a whole big thing.
But with that being said, losing a whole robot, you still get a lot of attacks out of the unit anyway. Which is great. And on top of that as well, they can tank shock as well, so they can do a lot of damage.
100%.
And then finally, we've got Benevolence
of the Omnissiah.
Benevolence of the Omnissiah. 1 Legionnaire Cybernetica or Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle unit from your army. Until the start of your next command phase, models in your unit have the 6 up for no pain rule, which is improved to 5+ against mortals. Just great. So again, if we look at that sort of combo we're looking at defensively, and we take Belisarius Call, we could have Castellan robots while they're in their deployment zone, ignoring AP1, getting the benefit of cover. So they're essentially ignoring AP2. They could then have a 6 up for no pain. And a 5 against mortals. It just all adds up. Right? And they could be toughness 10 as well. So overall stratagems are really great here. Now, like we've said, is like the rest of them, this only really benefits vehicles. But to be honest with you, the vehicles, there's a lot of good vehicles in the list anyway.
100%.
But also, like, a lot of the units you could put in the army, like your breaches or anything like that, have a lot of like inbuilt rules anyway. So you don't need as much stratagem support.
I think that's going to be the theme with all of them, as you said, because you're building around vehicles, but you're going to be taking data sheets around it, similar to, I know we keep going into it, but Marines and stuff. You take like scouts because they're quite self-sufficient, even though they're not getting benefits from a specific detachment. They're self-sufficient and provide a role that the entire army needs.
Yeah. And there's definitely a list, I would say, where you take 2, depending, like, you know, obviously, like, what your, you know, like, your collection is, but also, like, you know, points limitations on what you want to be doing in terms of with your actual, like, list. I think there's definitely a build where you take 2 big units of robots with the data sets, and then you take maybe a unit of breachers just to provide a bit of anti-tank, and then you just take Vanguard, Rangers, Corpus, like loads of little units.
Even these side, deep
and the sterilizers, they're all independently working, and they all do their bit. You take the Dominus as well, and then you take the enhancements, so you can do all your bits as well.
And now for a word from our sponsor, C Studios. They are the experts in providing professional miniature painting services, ensuring your armies always look their best on the battlefield. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or just starting out, C Studios can help bring your miniatures to life. Don't miss out on their quality craftsmanship.
I just think this is a really, really good detachment.
Same.
And probably is not my favourite, but ties up there with me for probably the best, and maybe even just edges it slightly, just because of the amount of good stuff you have here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, time will tell, right? But I mean, what's the top units that you see in this army? Robots?
Castellan robots, Elliot. This is for you, mate. This is for you. You know, and the thing is as well, the nice thing about this is memories for me.
Yeah.
With one of my best friends out there. So, you know, it's great to hopefully you'll pick up AdMech.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got that. Again, the classics, your breaches.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing you're looking at here maybe is if you want to go with the 2 big units of robots, is actually just taking loads of little units like your sterilizers, which are independently working. They can deep strike down, do some missions. If you want them to shoot, they can do wounds. Corpus Scarpi Electro Priests, I think, are good in this attachment as well. You bang them in a Doomstrider, take 2 units of 5 in there.
Yeah.
They get out, reduce the movement of your opponent, so then the Castellan robots can still do their thing.
Yeah.
Cool in this attachment's great because he also heals vehicles.
Oh, perfect. Right.
So he can just sort of sit behind tanks, healing them. So he can like move up with this Castellan robot bubble, and he's sat there healing them, doing his thing.
Yeah, sure.
And then the robots are there just sort of, you know, tanking.
You want at least 2 or 3 tech priests.
Yeah, I think engine sears definitely, because again, like I think you take 1 Dominus.
1 Dominus.
Because the Dominus can go with the breaches.
Yeah.
But then I think you actually want the engine sears.
Okay.
Because the engine sears also allow you to heal tanks.
So they're like your tech priests.
They are. So a tech priest engine steer.
Sorry, for my Space Marine mind, I'm just trying
to
to
put in perspective, a tech priest engine steer is a tech marine.
Okay,
like,
sure.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So just taking things that can heal these tanks up. So the exact same way you would be looking at an Ironstorm.
Yeah.
This is how I would look at that version of it.
Okay.
And I actually think it's going to be very good.
Yeah,
and
it sounds it.
Very, very excited.
It sounds like AdMech have had a good glow up, and I think it's really nice to see. And I'm excited to see your passion for it, mate, because you actually seem really excited.
I'm very excited. I love AdMech. I've said so many times. I've tried to do a Dark Mechanicum army for years, right? And every time I do it, I always go, oh no, or I get put off. Like, for example, last edition, I was very put off by the complexity of the book.
Yeah.
And when the index came out for 10th edition, I was so excited because I was like, oh, wow, you know, AdMech, like, I've always wanted to do AdMech. This looks really cool. And then just sadly, I was like, oh, but I got very put off by, like, they were very expensive and they seemed very lackluster. Whereas now, like, there's so much choice. You've got so many different ways you can play. And I'm very excited to say that I do want to take this army to an event as soon as I can.
Nice.
And it may even have 8 robots in just for you, Elliot.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I like it, mate. I like it. I like it. Well, guys, obviously, don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe to us at the channel. And yeah, Jake, thank you for running through all these AdMech detachments with me. It's been a pleasure.
No, it's been. Usual. Thank you very much,
Thank
mate.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And we will see you on another video very soon.